Hold on just a second. There we go.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and good morning. We do have a number of elected officials here. I am going to have Deputy City Manager Pam Hodge to come forward to talk about court management system, and they are here because they are interested in the court management system, and I believe they are here because they support moving forward with this court management system. And so what she is going to do is update you on the court management system today. We want to answer all of your questions. They are here in the audience and would be willing to come forward to answer any questions that council or mayor you would have. And at the next meeting, the fourth Tuesday at 5:30, we will be bringing the court management system back before this body to ask you to approve moving forward with it. And so we would like to answer your questions today, and then, of course, if you've got questions between now and the fourth Tuesday, let us know and we'll get you a response. And so with that, Deputy City Manager Pam Hodge will talk about the court management system.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. We have been coordinating the replacement of an integrated court management system for several years now. The system that we're currently on is from 1988, so it's 30 years old, and it is definitely due for replacement. There are a lot of duplications that go on between offices and departments currently. It's currently housed on the mainframe, and as the IT Director, Forrest Tolley, has told you over the last several years, getting these systems off the mainframe is our end goal. Getting things on an internet-based platform is the goal, and moving things off of the mainframe. The replacement of this system, the first year payment is part of the FY19 budget, so the first payment's already been approved and in the budget, and Angelica Alexander will be coming forward at the conclusion to lay out the financing for this particular replacement. We've had numerous offices, agencies, departments involved in this evaluation for a new court management system. A lot of them are represented here today, and for those of you that are here on the court management system, if you could just stand up. So a lot of offices are represented here today and support the replacement of this system. We've done a lot of research. The agencies and offices have done site visits. We've done demonstrations. The vendors here today are going to give a brief overview of the court management system. A lot of them have visited other jurisdictions that have this particular system to see how it operates in the real world. So they all have done their research for their particular piece of the process for an integrated court management system. Today we just want to provide an overview to council of the court management system and answer any questions. If there's any of the offices that are here today that would like to make any comments, they're welcome to do so as well. So for now, I'm going to call forward Megan O'Leary. She is with Tyler Technologies. The product that we're looking at is called Odyssey, and she's going to give just a brief overview of that system and its capabilities. So Megan.
Perfect. Good morning, Council and Mayor. Thank you for your time this morning. Just really quickly want to speak about what we've been doing over the past couple of years looking at the Odyssey court system. Currently, the courts and justice systems have one unified system. Like Ms. Hodge mentioned, it's from 1988. And back then it was very cutting edge because all of the products were one piece of software, which now sits on your mainframe. And so the city still has that need to have a unified system, albeit a little more updated. And so that's what we're looking at today. Odyssey is a single unified system. So it's one piece of software, and it covers all the different offices, which include the jail, prosecutors, public defender, the courts, and the clerk's office. What that means to be one single piece of software is all of the kind of important parts, the task management, the credit card management, messaging, authentication, all of the core pieces of functionality are one single piece of software. What that means to your citizens and in the real world is that they have one single experience whenever they need to interact with the sheriff's office, the clerk's office, municipal court, recorder's court, probate court, et cetera. They're having a single uniform experience. To talk a little bit about Tyler and the Odyssey software as a partner, we are a very stable company. We're publicly traded. We've been around for over 30 years ourselves. We're one of the most innovative companies according to Forbes magazine. We've had solid growth year over year, and we are also investing about $48 million a year into research and development. What that would mean to the city of Columbus is that we're always adding new functionality to our products and innovating on the platforms that we serve our citizens with. To look across the U.S., we have about 50% of the population, which includes 12 states, and also over 120 million U.S. residents are served by the Odyssey system. In Georgia, we are also a partner with about 50% of the population, and it includes 17 unified solutions. Some of our current customers that we serve are Fulton County, DeKalb County, Forsyth County, Gwinnett County, Chatham County, and Clayton County. And so this includes over 4.5 million Georgia citizens that are living in an area supported by the Odyssey solution. The other nice thing to point out is that it is a perpetual license, which means once the City of Columbus is a partner with us, that it is a long-term partnership, and as we do that research and development of the product, the consolidated government always gets to enjoy those benefits without having to pay additional licensing costs. So that's the basics about Odyssey. Are there any questions for me?
We have Counselor Thomas. Oh, no, okay, I'm sorry. All right, anyone else? Anyone with any questions? All right, thank you. Pam?
Thank you.
So at this time, the Finance Director, Angelica Alexander, is going to come forward and just give council an overview of the cost of this system and how it would be spread out over the fiscal years.
Good morning, Madam Mayor, Council. So as Deputy City Manager Hodge mentioned, the cost for the first year's payment is already budgeted. We've sort of collected that amount over the past 3 fiscal years. So we do have year one costs already included, but the total implementation cost for this particular project is $4,164,564. From a fiscal year standpoint, as far as the payments are concerned, our first payment will be made in FY20. The annual cost is essentially fixed for the next 5 years at $1.6 million. And then subsequent to FY24, at that point, we are no longer paying the implementation costs, which we've broken up over 5 years. At that point, we'll just be paying our annual maintenance fee. And so you see there the estimated annual SaaS fee. SaaS is a platform, as the Deputy City Manager mentioned, that we're trying to migrate to. It's an internet-based platform, and it means that we're hosted. And I really would like for the IT Director to really sort of talk about what the SaaS means from an IT standpoint.
SaaS stands for Software as a Service, and what basically it means, you know, when I first got here, we had to do several $1 million of upgrades to the data center. About every 5 to 7 years, you would need to do several $1 million of upgrades to the data center. And that doesn't include the servers and stuff. That is like the switches and the main parts of the data center. Software as a service is where it's kind of cloud-based, and by cloud, it's stored off-site, and that we no longer are responsible for providing like the air conditioning, the electricity, the servers, the services. All we'll need in the data center is a reduced presence. So what we're trying to do over time is which most counties are, control our costs by, rather than to get these one-time huge bumps, we'd rather like pay as we go, and a SaaS agreement kind of keeps everything up to date. One thing nice with SaaS, a software as a service, is that you are always on the latest version. So you always are on the latest patches, the latest securities, the latest features. And that's really important today because a system that you put in now in 6 months, if it didn't have updates, it would be vulnerable to attacks. And you hear about that all the time. And people are always worried about that. This is one way to mitigate it. It doesn't prevent it, but it sure makes it a lot nicer if you never have to worry about your hardware, your software, or really the services provided around that. And that's what software as a service is. And all of our systems have moved to that platform, with the exception, I think, of a few minor systems that are kind of homegrown. But all of our major systems are enterprise systems, and they're SaaS, software as a service system agreements. Any questions on what software as a service?
I would like to open it up, and I know there's several of our elected officials here, if they would like to make any comments, the chief judge, the sheriff, clerk of courts.
Yes. Yes, Judge McBride, Ms. Glover, or the Sheriff Tompkins.
Well, and Madam Mayor, all of those elected officials and/or appointed officials supporting this software, I'd ask that you just come and sit up near Judge McBride.
And we do have representatives from the District Attorney's Office. Obviously, Julia Slater, our District Attorney, is in court this morning, so, but she did send representatives. So.
And Madam Mayor, because this has been an effort and supported by all of these people, and it's very, very critical. It's important to the work that they do on behalf of the citizens on a day-to-day basis.
Yes. And Judge, before you get started, Councilor Thomas had a quick question she wanted to.
Ms. Hodge, on the list of participating departments and offices, I did not see the Recorder's Court. Is Recorder's Court part of this?
Yes, Recorder's Court is part of this. We left them off.
Yes, and there's the Recorder's Court Administrator.
Donna is here as well.
Hello, Donna, good morning. Thank you for being here. Judge, good morning.
Well, I want to thank the city manager and the assistant city manager and the mayor and council and Mr. Tolley and all involved for going forward. I guess especially the finance director needs thanks because she has a pretty important role to play in all of this, as do you. So what I'm going to say just briefly is I think it would be good to consider how much the world has changed in the last 30 years, how much the caseload has changed from Muskogee County, the nature of the cases, the number of multi-defendant criminal cases, the complexity of those cases, just the case law that dictates the various procedures that the courts must go through on a pretrial basis, the different hearings that must occur. We have motions that we now have to hear and that we have to consider that were unheard of 30 years ago because the Supreme Court had not decided those cases and decided that those were important parts of the criminal justice system to address. And so it has become increasingly difficult to manage the complexities of a modern urban caseload, which is what we basically have here in Columbus. There's a reason why the other urban and metro counties in Georgia have moved toward this. So I think I'm not alone when I say I salute you and I thank you for what you're doing. We right now are in a position, and I've been, while we have been in this transitional period with the courthouse, I've been providing various officials with data on various pressure points in the system, such as indictments, the productivity of the grand jury, which, by the way, is where our district attorney is today. She's with the grand jury of Muskogee County, the jail population. And if you really ask the sheriff's office or the clerk's office or I guess the clerk's office, certainly the sheriff, or the DA's office for that matter, for a list of, say, persons who have been in jail for 45 days or more without being indicted. If that's your query, you'll wind up with 3 different lists. And the reason for that is because it's not integrated. The people who are inputting the data on the front end are different. They're using different priorities. And if you ask which judge the cases are assigned to, then you really create a new level of complexity. And right now, we're having to do everything manually. It ties up an awful lot of hours, of man hours. Our circuit administrator, Mr. Berry, is here, and that's a key part of his job, is just helping us monitor these cases. And so it will be good for us to move to a new level that's more attuned to today's realities and how the criminal justice system works. So I thank you. If y'all have any questions for me, I will be glad to stick around, but I think you have the people who can answer the more important questions here right now. So again, thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Well, other than amen, Madam Clerk, Shasta Glover, would you like to say anything? You're good. Great, thank you. And Sheriff Tompkins?
I just have to agree with him. You know, sometimes the judge will ask for information, and many times we have to go literally one by one through the inmates in the county jail, which as of today is 1,115, to find that information. The first time he asked me for something, I said, okay, Judge, but it'll be a minute. And I think he thought I was being, you know, whatever. I said, oh, no, you don't understand. I have to go one by one to get you that information. And we did get it to him, but what was designed 30 years ago was great. It's a great idea to be unified, the way that this was designed, but it's time for new technology, and I'm 100% behind it.
Great, thank you. And from the DA's office, anything additional? Anybody? Okay. And
solicitor.
Solicitor, I'm sorry, yes. Anything? Okay. And also, anything from Recorder's Court in addition to what's already been said? Donna, did you have anything? 100%. Okay, great, thank you. All right.
Well, it's not often we get unanimous votes.
Right. That's why I wanted to roll through it just to hear the yeses, yes. Yeah.
But, Madam Mayor, if there are other questions, we will answer them. If not, we will bring it back on the 4th Tuesday at 5:30 meeting, and we will be asking council for a vote.
All right. Well, thank you all for your hard work. Thank you for your cooperation in this process, and certainly to staff, Pam, Angelica, Forrest, and all of those that have been involved. Thank you so much. This will be a very important milestone for our city. All right. Is that it for now?
That's it, Madam Mayor. Yes.
Okay. All right. We're back on regular schedule now.